I'm going to ask you all to accept. So funny that it does that. Okay. I am recording it though tonight because I know that obviously not the same night or time works for every single person, and that's okay. And that way, if somebody wants to come back to refer to this while they create their own vision board for 2022, then they have this as a tool. So for those of you that maybe don't know who I am, my name is Sarah O'Connell, and I've been an ambassador at Diamond with It Works for quite a while now. I'm going to be celebrating 10 years, I think, at the end of March of next year, which is so crazy to even think about. But we are going to just hop right in. So tonight we're going to do it a little bit differently. Every single year, we do a vision board party, really. And the last couple of years we've done virtual, thanks to just, all the happenings in our world today. But honestly, you guys, I really do enjoy the virtual one because people can tune in from all over the place, because obviously we aren't all just in each other's, neighborhoods or down the street or anything like that. So I've actually found that I truly, really love doing this every single night or every year, coming together just from afar. And so this year is no different. However, you guys, I have asked 3 women who I just think have such incredible stories, but to top it off, their feet are just planted so deeply here. I watch them work this business day in and day out for years, you guys, for years. And they just have unwavering faith of the possibilities that this opportunity has. And so I asked them if they would be willing to share just even 10 minutes of just how this business has changed their life, the triumphs that they've had, the valleys that they've gone through, but what this business has done and given to them. And they were so happy to share. And just hearing these types of things, you guys, this is how vision is created. And I share that because when I went to my first event ever, and it was an in-person event, because we couldn't have virtual events. Like, we didn't even have this. We would get on the phone and listen to conference calls. It's so funny to even think about that. So to be able to see each other and tune in from everywhere is such a blessing. But I will tell you, that is completely what changed my mindset, which also completely changed my business, right? And it's because I heard perfectly imperfect stories that, where there were hardships and there's life going on and there's chaos and all these things. But these women were just focusing and doing what they could. And it showed me that their stories, their success stories, it showed me that that was enough. So that even for myself, if things weren't perfect, or I couldn't put in, the amount of time that I wanted to, or maybe I felt like I was falling short here, or I missed a goal, it's one goal of many, right? And so I will forever be grateful for that. So I've asked a few of them to come on and do the same for you, so that even if you're new to this, or you're like, you know what, I do lack vision, I can promise you after hearing from these 3 that will not be the case. And then we'll jump into creating your vision board. Okay. So first off, Amanda, I'm going to have you go first. And Amanda's been in for 8 years. So you guys, I know 10 years sounds like a long time, but I remember when Amanda was literally going Ruby. We talk about this a lot. Now I've gotten to become super, super close with her over the years. She inspires me every single day. And she was working as a full-time dental hygienist, and now she does this full-time. So Amanda, will you just share kind of what we talked about, just to kind of share some vision and what this business has done for you?
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited. Doing the dream boards is one of my favorite things to do. And I think that it's just so important to, really think like even beyond what we can even imagine happening in our life. I think is just so incredibly huge. But anyways, I started this business, like Sarah said, working full time as a dental hygienist. And I came into this business just wanting $200, just maybe thinking I could make that. And, coming to things like this, or staying close to the fire, going to local events, anything that you can get your hands on where there's people. I encourage that so much, because I only had the brain cell of maybe making a couple $100 extra a month. And then when I went to a little event, there was maybe 10 people there. I had no idea who it was. Sarah, I think you were even out of town. I don't even know who it was, but there was 10, 15 people in there. And I was just blown away by their stories and the money they were making. And so I left that little, get together just thinking okay, I want to come home to my babies. I want to be able to retire my career. And so I did just that, you guys. I figured out exactly what to do. I went to YouTube a lot. I found out like those top leaders who were really just making a lot of money and just trying to figure out exactly what they were doing and how to do it. So I just consumed myself with YouTube videos and trainings and figuring out, like mimicking exactly like what those top leaders were doing, because they were obviously doing something right, you know? So anyways, I put that as a goal. I was like, I looked at that income disclosure chart and I said, okay, I need to get to double diamond as soon as possible. And I did. I just worked, and I worked in the morning before I went to work. I worked on my lunch break. I worked when I came home, and within about 5.5 months, I went all the way to double diamond. And that was actually a paycheck that I received, and it was higher than like dental hygiene ever was. And so I got pregnant. And then after we had our second son, Crew, I was able to come home. So because of this business, you guys, and on top of that, you guys, before I started, I had over $120,000 just in student loans. Plus we had like $40,000 in medical and credit card debt. So because of this business, I've now been retired from my corporate for 7.5 years, almost 7.5 years. And we have paid off all of our debt. So credit card debt, student loan debt, everything because of this business. And so when I say like, you know, and I will tell you guys, like what Sarah said, like it wasn't just like an up, you know, like, oh, success all the way. There was definitely those times where I, you know, was stagnant. There was definitely those times I got in my head, frustrations, doubt, fear, feeling stuck, feeling like if I was worthy of this. There was sometimes I even felt like I was making all this money and I didn't deserve it. Like all these feelings throughout these 8 years. But I definitely believe like if you write things down and you see a vision for it, and you have people in your circle, and you're continuing to move your feet and learn and fill yourself with self-development, I truly believe that you can get to any goal that you want. It's not a matter of if you're going to get there, it's just a matter of when. And so, you know, now in this business, like we get to wake up and we get to be with our little ones, and we get to, I mean, they're now 7 and 10, but you know, we get to design our days. And what's so cool is my husband now gets to take the money that we make in this business, and he gets to use it with other investments and so, you know, to multiply the It Works money, which is so amazing. But and so yeah, so 8 years now. And as far as like dream boards go, you guys, I jotted down a few things. So we do our dream boards every year, right? And I love that you guys are doing it now because you want to get these, like you want to start these now. You don't want to wait till January 1st and then start them. You want to know this stuff now. And so I love, and they don't have to be anything fancy or anything like that, but a few things that I put on mine is I always put the word of my year. So whatever word you're going for is whatever word you're feeling about or you've prayed about. And if you don't know what that is or you've never heard of that, what I like to describe it is like a word that you want for the 2022 that you are going to just, you know, embrace, that you want to do, that you want to be, that you want to, you know, receive everything. So like, for instance, my word was trust. Here's my dream board from last year or from this year. So I put my word right here. I have trust everywhere, you guys. My team got me this thing. It just says trust me. Aww. So like literally I have so many things that just have my word, because you know, so often like your word is going to, and it was crazy because when you pick your word, like you'll see it everywhere, right? And you'll start to, like, there was things that happened throughout 2021 that I was like, shoot, I need to trust right now. Like I need to, you know, just trust this process. And so your word can just be so powerful, but pray about it. It, you know, like whatever word you're wanting, but just pray about it. And I promise you it will come. But so your word of your year, money goals, and be specific, you guys. So for instance, if you're like, I want to pay off credit card debt. Okay. You want to know the exact amount of your credit card debt that you have. Okay. If you want to make an income goal, like for an amount, know that exact amount, you guys. So whatever that is, how many, it can be faith goals. It could be travel goals. So where do you want to go? How much is that going to cost, right? Team goals. How many people do you want to rise up to Ruby? How many people do you want to rise up to diamond, so forth. It could be material goals. It could be inspirational goals, words that you want to put on there, fitness goals, leadership goals. But my thing with goals, you guys, is just you want to be specific. Okay, you want to be specific, and then you want to. I also like to put a date with that. Okay, so for instance, one of my goals for 2022 is at rank, and that's double ambassador, and I want to be double ambassador by May of 2022. Okay, so put those dates on there too, because then it just makes it where you have you start to have that plan that goes with those goals. So so that's kind of what I put on there. And the goals are so amazing because you want to have short-term goals, but have tenacious, huge goals. You guys have huge goals that you think what can, goals to leave your grandchildren, think of this year, but also put goals on there for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, make them so tenacious because those God-sized goals. Because here's the thing, you guys, is that we can really have whatever we want, but sometimes we do just have to trust the Lord and believe that we might not be able to know how that's going to happen, but I guarantee when we pray about it, God wants us to pray those huge dreams, right? And those huge prayers. So yeah, so that's all I got.
I love that. And what's funny is that naturally we limit ourselves. And so we do have to set those big goals, the ones that we are we're not sure if we can do it. But the truth is you're not meant to do it alone. That's the thing, right? And especially even with this business. And so, wait, there was one other thing I was going to say. So we'll go even more into the word. But honestly, the word, when you guys pick your word, what's amazing with it is that once you have that, it reminds you, it's like takes a snapshot of what is on your vision board. And sometimes you guys, you might, as we work tonight, you might even find that as you write down goals and you start going over them and what they mean to you, that your word comes to you then, right? It's how am I going to get that done? Amanda, she's going to get it done by trusting. And I love that you shared, Amanda, that you're we don't need to know the how, right? If somebody was Amanda, you're going to go double ambassador with this company that you started, she would have been I don't even know how to go Ruby. I know, but really what all you do need to know is what you want to do with this business and why, right? The rest of it figures itself out as you continue to trust, which is really funny because that's your word for the year. But okay, thank you so much, Amanda, for just hopping on and sharing. That's just so awesome. And I'm sure people are already taking notes on what they're going to imply and apply to their dream boards tonight. So thank you. I'm going to find Marina here. There she is. Okay. I'm going to unmute you, sister. And I'm going to spotlight you. There you are. Okay. So, Marina, she's in Canada. Hi, Team Canada. I always tell her, I was just telling her today, I'm gosh, I just love my girls in Canada so much. And Marina's been one of those. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know Marina before this business, really not even all three of these women, but we met at events. That is what is so crazy. So again, things look a little bit different in 2021, and you will meet people through Zooms and different things. Hopefully we get to be more belly to belly coming into this new year. But Marina has been in for 7 years. I absolutely love her story. Again, there is no success story, you guys, that goes just straight up. We all have these nice little things. But the cool thing is as you learn that that's just how these things go, you no longer fear those things, and you start looking what is this time trying to teach me? And we all do that. And when we're in those times, it's so funny that we have so many other people to reach out to because no one's story does go like this. So you are so incredibly relatable when things like that happen. But she owned her own company before started this business. And so, like I said, she's been in for 7 years. Marina, you always just share so passionately about this business and what it's done for you. It's probably my absolute favorite thing. I'm you don't even need to talk about facts or bonuses or anything like that. I'm I read her post and I'm yep, that's who I absolutely would love. And I'm sure people are asking to be, dropping at your team and saying, please, teach me how you're doing this. But I want you to share tonight just exactly what this business has done for you, just like you share through your posts, and just share some of the vision with these people that are like, you know what, I don't know what this can do for me. Because you guys, most of us didn't. And even if you are like a few years in, you still might be stuck at your vision from a couple years ago. So we want to expand that by listening to different stories. So Marina, go ahead and take it away, sis.
Thank you so much. What an introduction. And I see so many of my team on here. Thanks for hopping on, everybody. And for everybody else, so nice to meet you if we haven't already. Yeah, I've been almost 7 years. In February will be 7 years for me. And it's so funny because it's so cliche. You hear it all the time. This business has changed my life. But it like seriously has. Like you always say, I get so emotional and so like passionate about it because even though we have been through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in this business, I don't want anything else. It's like a marriage. Like I'm with my husband. It's like, no matter how awesome it is or how crappy it can be sometimes, I don't want to do it with anyone else. I just love it with him. Right. And it's the same with this business. It's like, I just want to keep loving it for the rest of my days, because it's done so much for me, and for me, we didn't need the money. Brent and I both had fantastic jobs. I had a wonderful, I owned a cleaning company, but it was quite large here on the island where I live, and we were busy. We had lots of employees. My husband's a firefighter, so money was not really something that we were looking for. So I really had no interest in this business. When it came to that, it was watching my friends my one friend who had signed me, watching her just have all this time and like freedom. And I realized I was just never with my children. And that's an issue, right? I worked sometimes 7 days a week, and I'm so sorry. I worked 7 days a week and I was not seeing the kids, and Brent was home, and well, we were just like trying to make it work around the clock type of thing. And it was exhausting, right? And so when I ended up finally joining and realizing that people actually wanted what we had to offer, I was like, I think I could do this. And it was nuts for the first year, like totally insane. But I look back and I'm like, one crazy year where I barely slept because I was doing full-time cleaning and then full-time management of my staff team and then children and everything else, plus building this business. I look back and I'm like, it was 1 year of my life. And it's like, just like the residuals come in. I've got a team. Everyone's pretty self-sufficient. And it's just like, we're here to just like show up and inspire. And that's like, what a fun job. Like, it's just so exciting all the time. So, Sarah wanted us to share some of the things that, what have we been able to do because of this business? And I'm sorry to my team who's heard my story a million times, but you'll hear it again. So for us, like, obviously all like, she's dying to say hi.
Oh my God.
So for us, like the biggest thing was just getting me home. Right. And so being it like in our first year, I went presidential in the first year, and I earned the $100,000 bonus with the company when they had doubled the bonuses. And it was so life-changing because along the way we had earned several other bonuses. So between Brent and I's accounts, we've earned over $250,000 in bonuses, and I've never lost a bonus. So I was paid out every single dollar of that, which is amazing. So we were able to purchase our home on 10 acres. We have a beautiful home in the middle of nowhere, which I love because I'm a hermit crab. And I love that I can work online away from people because I suffer from really bad anxiety. But I've been able to grow through this business and become a leader, which is something I never thought would happen. And so obviously, like, paying off all our debts, we paid over $100,000 in debt in our first year with the business. And that was just consumer debt. So that was just like wiped clean, which was fantastic. And with these vision boards, let me tell you how important they are, because if you're not visualizing and seeing where you want to go every single day and saying, like, if I'm not working my business, I'm not getting this. Like, it's my choice to not receive what I'm putting the work that I'm supposed to be putting in, right? So on my very first vision board, I made this huge one in I was like, go big or go home, like shadow box giant thing with all these pictures, and I had lights in it and everything, because I just wanted it to be so magical. And my biggest thing on my dream board, besides coming home, was I wanted a French bulldog so badly. And my husband had always said no animals. And he had told me that if we went presidential, I could get a French bulldog because they're so expensive, as you all know, I'm sure. And we just could never afford it. We were just, even though we made good money, it's like, who has $5,000 to throw on a dog, right? And earning those bonuses is that all these extras that you would never normally splurge on yourself that you can get. And like, so this is our second French bulldog. this is the baby of our mama who's sleeping right now. But, you know, and like, they're like such a big part of my life. My team knows that. But that was just like, that was a big one for me. And then another one was being able to travel the world. We have been to so many countries because of this business, like Ireland twice, Spain twice, France. I'm like trying to think of all the places. There have been so many. Africa, Israel. I've been all over the place thanks to this business, you know, and I get to write it all off along the way because I'm talking to people every day. I talk to people in the airports. I talk to people in the, you know, at my hotel, or it doesn't matter. There's always an opportunity to blitz, as you know. But like for me on my dream board, my very first year, I had put Israel because my little brother lives there, and Africa because I always wanted to give back. And then not only did I get to go and do that twice, I got to go with our company, like with the CEO's daughter, with Cami Pentecost, and like have this wonderful, I think Rhonda, you went on one of those, and I don't know, Sarah, if you've been, I'm not sure, but if you've not ever done that and that's something that is passionate on your heart, then you need to do it because it is the most incredible thing. So like just being able to give back in ways that you never imagined. Money is one thing. It's wonderful. It's great. And it pays for everything. It certainly helps, but it's not everything. But what you can do with the opportunities that money provides, like, oh, my heart, like I have such a yellow heart and I just want to give. I wanted to bring every baby home from Africa, but had to stop myself, you know, and that was so like life-giving, and that I never would have had this. I was a teen mom. We had our first when I was 19, and I was a mom from a young age. We couldn't afford to travel or anything else. So this was just like a major, major one. So literally everything on my original dream board, I've done. And there's been so many since then, and we've crossed it all off. But let's put all of the monetary things aside and like dive into your heart and just feel deeper as to why this business can be so much more for you. And I will share that there's a couple things a lot of you know, but some of you don't. I'll never forget the very first time when I closed my cleaning company, the very first time I got to go on a field trip with my daughter. She was in kindergarten. That was life-changing. We were at a pumpkin patch ride and we're on the little train, and all the kids were like wanting to hold my hand, and it had just clicked in because her brother Josiah is 5 years older. It had clued into me that he was in grade 5 and I had never ever been on a field trip with him, and that somebody else was holding my child's hand for the first 5 years of his school life. And like it just like affected me so strong, and I was like, oh my God, like I feel sick to my stomach. And then all these little kids are like sitting on me, and everybody wants a parent, and Keela was just beaming at the fact that I was there. And I was like, this right here is the reason why I will never go back to what I had before. This right here is the reason why I will work as hard as I have to so that I never have to go down that path again, and my children always have me. So that was number one. And then fast forward to just last year, my mother-in-law got sick with cancer very suddenly, and it was so devastating on our family. And I moved to Kelowna, which is like probably 7 hours away from us. I moved there for 6 months, and I was able to move right in with her and do all her palliative care, take care of her, be there for her. She was my best friend. And I look back and I'm like, if I was still cleaning houses, I would have had those last 6 months with her, you know, and to be able to hold her hand through everything and not have nurses come and take care of her. I did everything, and to not miss a moment. So you have to think of these things in your future. If you have parents that are getting older, if you have siblings that maybe have had a car accident or anything, the opportunities to just be able to drop and go and work your business from anywhere. And even though I even like took like a full couple months off because I was so busy with her, and money was still coming in, all my bills were still being paid. that's something you don't get elsewhere. Your job doesn't give a crap who dies. You know what I'm saying? Like, so put that on your vision board, to have financial freedom for when emergencies happen. I know Rhonda just went through this with her dad too. Like, it's just, so that is the biggest things for me. Those were my biggest things. And this is why it's so important to have these things on your vision board. This is so important to not just think small, but to think grandiose, to think as far as your mind that you would never even imagine. Because I never thought that this anxiety-ridden girl from the middle of nowhere in Canada would be doing what I have done in this business, but I have, you know, and it's honestly, truly because of this business. So think big, dream big. And I'm so thankful that all of you guys hopped on, and thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. You know, I don't think stories ever get old. And the funny thing is that as we listen, there's so many pieces to somebody's story that we can't even share a full story in 10 minutes. But I'm sure you guys are already starting to hear, and this is exactly why I wanted to start this out like this, but you're hearing some of the same things over and over, right? Like debt, being able to travel, having freedom. Maybe like for me, you guys, I loved what I was doing. I didn't start this business because I was looking to replace that. Really, I was looking to add what my job didn't provide, which were the bonuses, the fun stuff, the trips. Like I was never going to get that stuff as a nurse, right? Yes, I had great income as a nurse, but there were a lot of things missing. And so you think about things like that, but you're hearing some of the things over and over. Travel, right? A lot of people, they travel, but then it's all put on a card and you're like, either paying for it, you know, months afterwards, or you're taking years to save up to it to finally go, that you're like, oh my gosh, do I still want to go to the same place? You know, and so what's awesome when you add this in, it's extra, right? It starts as extra for so many people. And then from there, as you continue to increase your numbers or dream bigger goals, you can decide if it replaces certain things. And that's what I think is so amazing about this business. But I already know you guys are taking notes because I can see some of you and you're like, oh, like somebody's saying something and it's triggering. And that's exactly what we're on here to do tonight. So again, even if you don't have your board, and Marina's so hilarious. I can see you with a board that has lights in it. I just, because that is just, you're a doll like that. But I'm telling you what's so funny is that some of us started with these huge, massive boards because we just didn't really know what we were doing at first. And now it's so funny. We're like, no, we need it so it can like fit in our planner so that we can see it every single day. So I want you to know that it doesn't have to be crazy. And I will even, I'm going to share some tips as I've been starting to create mine, like literally where it's coming from. Okay. So last but not least, Miss Rhonda, I'm going to find her on here. Hold on. And I want to spotlight her video. She is going to share, and if y'all don't know Rhonda, first of all, you're missing out. I told her, I was like, you are just like, oh my gosh, she's such a wealth of knowledge, but also just has learned so much through experience. And I think, like, honestly, nothing replaces that, right? I'm like, you can throw facts at people day in and day out. But Rhonda, we're all under Rhonda, which is so amazing. We're all under Rhonda. And so her yes has led to so many yeses and so many dreams and so many things. And so who not better to share? And so Rhonda's been in for 10 years and 3 months. I'm like close on her tail. But it's seriously just a heart of gold. So Rhonda, just go ahead and share exactly what is on your heart to share tonight while these ladies go into putting dreams down and goals for 2022.
Yes, yes. And Sarah, thank you for the invitation. And, you know, I just want to start out by saying I never could have forecasted where this business would have taken me and my family when I joined. So whether you're brand new or you've been around for a while, just know that your future is undetermined and there's absolutely nothing in your past that defines you. Nothing. I'm a high school dropout. Okay, so that was my life. I lived a different life in my childhood and even into my adulthood. And what I've learned in my journey with It Works is that none of that defines who I am as a person or where I'm going or how I have the ability to influence other people in a positive way. And that's really what our business is about. So, you know, I think back, Sarah asked me like, how has life changed since I said yes? over 10 years ago. And you guys, I mean, Sarah just said it, you know, with Marina's story, with, you know, I mean, just anything that we could share. 10 minutes is not an adequate amount of time, but I can tell you this, that when I came on board, it works. I did not know what I was doing at all. So ignorance on fire, no matter where you are in your business, remember, you do not have to know anything. Excitement sells. People want to be around people who are excited. And that was how I got started in my business. I literally didn't know what I was doing. And my first paycheck was $87.15. I'll never forget that dang number. You know what I'm talking about? Because I joined for a little bit of extra. I wanted to relieve my husband's responsibility. He was financially taking care of our family. And I knew that if I could make a couple $1,000s per month, and I could do that from home, it would change how we lived. And I went from joining this business to a year later being able to sell my vehicle that I've been driving for years for $2,500 and upgrade my car. You know, I mean, it's like little baby steps that you put on your dream board. So whatever your life looks like today, even if you're just happy as can be, think of things. And I'm going to give you a little homework at the end as we close here in the next few minutes, but I'm going to give you something to work on for yourself, because a lot of times it's hard to think of what our dream life would be like, what would really change how we live. So I look back on our 10 years, and honestly, this is a crazy, amazing personal development program that happens to pay really good when you stick to it. Like, you know, the secret to success in anything you do is the consistency to pursue. Remember that. Like, that was my tagline on my email forever. The secret to success is the consistency to pursue, because opportunities show up every single day for us to just sit down and call it done and think, oh, I don't really need that car. I don't really need to get braces for my 5th grader. She'll be fine without it. You know, we find ways to settle. But in my tenure, I've been able to purchase 4 vehicles. I started this business, you guys, with a vehicle that was valued at $2,500. And I've been able to pay cash for 4 vehicles, and not all of those were for us. So able to do for other people. I've been able to travel, like Marina mentioned, to Thailand, my first ever missions trip. I had no inclination that my life would take me to a place where I would go on a missions trip. And of all places, Thailand, for sex trafficking, because of the people that I met in this company that I never could have forecasted. That's what happened. And I've always been passionate about taking women off the streets and trying to understand that dynamic. And I got to experience 2 weeks in Thailand and saw the most painful things that you could even imagine. I mean, I was a changed person when I came back from that. It made me a better person. So being here made me a better person because of the position and the people that it connected me with. And then a year or 2 later, it works to their first missions trip to Africa. And so twice in 11 months, my husband, myself, even one of my children and her spouse and several team members traveled to Africa. Now, I will say this, on my vision board from 20 years ago, I had Africa on my vision board. I didn't know why. I had no idea why I wanted to go to Africa. I really didn't. But when I was putting that together, and I've always been a dream boarder, I've always had vision. So I put that on there. I had no idea that it would come for something like this. Not something for me, not a world traveling experience, but instead to go pour into children who literally have nothing. We just can't forecast the future. We can't. But we have to believe that there's something greater out there for us, that we're planted here, that we're here with this opportunity where you hear stories every day, just like I do, about people whose lives have changed because of this. You know, going from a high school dropout, who honestly, you guys, I mean, I didn't even find it works until I was 48. I was about to turn 49. I'm about to turn 59 in like less than 2 weeks. But I carried all through my life guilt and weight of never being good enough because I didn't graduate high school. I carried that burden with me through all of my years of my life. And maybe you have something that you carry on your shoulders, but I'm telling you right now that you've got a place and people in your lives that are willing to pour everything into you to show you, so you can show yourself that your past doesn't define where you're going. I mean, I'm so incredibly passionate about this. I'm working on my $4th million. Like, what high school dropout freaking gets to do that?
Nice.
Like, seriously, it's just mind blowing. And I want you to understand, if nothing else that you take away from any words that leave my lips tonight, I want you to realize that you cannot forecast your future. Where you are today is not going to be where you are in 10 years, not if you do the work. So I think another thing that you had asked me about, Sarah, was, and again, I could just ramble, but, you know, facing fears. I mean, I'm going to give you some examples, you guys. Okay, fear is real. I have a sign behind my head at my desk that says be bold, because we're faced with situations every single day that will stop us, no matter how beautiful, how small, or how large your dream board is, your vision board that you create, and I hope you will, no matter how big and fancy that is. If you become fearful of doing those simple things that are going to transform your life and your family's life, none of that will come to fruition for you. So you've got to be bold. You've got to remember that we get to pick our hard. In this country, in the United States of America, in Canada, we have freedoms that the rest of the world don't have. And I got to see that firsthand. You know what's hard? What's hard is to see someone who at the age of 9 years old was taken from her family by her mother and delivered to the streets of Bangkok to make money for that family. That's freaking hard, okay? What we do here in posting on our walls and creating stories and learning how to do videos and putting our faces in front of our cell phones and taking selfies at 59 years old, do you think this is on my list of what I want to do? No, I'm pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. This is what's going to make your dreams come true. What's hard is witnessing children who they live in a stone house with no water, with no electricity. They have no clothes. They don't have beds. They sleep on mats on a concrete or dirt floor. That's freaking hard, you guys. We have it so easy here. And this opportunity is presented to you and to me. And what we choose to do with it is what's going to make the difference, because those people, they don't get this opportunity. They don't get it. You do. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? I want you to be bold and I want you to be brave. And if I can do that and I can push past my own insecurities and my boundaries, and trust me, I am so not comfortable, even being on a Zoom. It's just not who I was designed to be in my eyes. But in somebody else's eyes, they have bigger plans for me. And they have bigger plans for you. So I guess where I'm going with this is pick your hard. Decide what's hard. If living to paycheck is hard for you, and it was hard for me. I mean, when I joined It Works, we had $16,000 in credit card debt on one credit card. We thought we were doing pretty good because we'd gotten rid of all the rest of the credit cards. You know, it had been worse once upon a time. But, you know, when we came into this business, I didn't have a vision of becoming debt-free. But because of what our company is about and what our people are about, and people like you and me who are willing to do what most people won't, I learned that that was possible. And I could pay that debt off. And now, because It Works provided an income for me to buy a Gulf of Mexico beach home, that, I mean, that's a whole nother story. We're able to sell that property now in this incredible market and set ourselves up for something that I never could have dreamed of because of the position that we were put in with It Works. So I don't know. I can't express enough. Your past will not define you. It only will if you decide that that's who you are. But I believe that there's so much more in you and what you're able to do. And honestly, with this 4-in-1, you guys, create your dream boards, create your vision boards, make a point to do it. And I'm going to give you a task. I know there's probably something I'm leaving out, Sarah, but I'm going to give you something to do tonight because this is really powerful. I want you to write down, just pick a piece of scratch paper, 50 reasons why this business has to work for you. I want you to write your rescue story. Like, what is this income that you're going to create? What is that going to do for you and for your family? And I want you to get detailed. 50 is a lot. I'm not talking about writing down 20 things, not 35 things. Push yourself to come up with 50. And I promise you, when you get to the end of your list, you should be bawling like a baby, because the first few things that you rattle off are going to be super easy. This might help you actually create your vision board. The first things are going to come easy. It's going to be pay off the debt. It's going to be get the braces. It's going to be get a new car. It's going to be buy a home. It's going to be the things that, you know, you're like, yes, 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 yes. And then you're going to be like, what else could I possibly want? That's when you start thinking about creating a legacy for your future. What if in 10 years from now, you can share your story and say, I have earned $1 million with this company. I've earned 2, 3, whatever, however many millions. What if that's your future? If you don't take these steps, you're never gonna know. Dream boarding is real. And just like Sarah said, it doesn't matter how big or how small or how fancy or how not, put these images on something, a piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper is fine, and then put it somewhere where you'll see it every day. Stick it on your refrigerator. And if you've got kids, let your kids participate and put not only those big, audacious goals on there, the things that are big that you know, you're like, I can't even imagine if that was my life and we could do that. But make sure you have your kids put some things on too that are smaller, more accomplished things. Kind of like when you get close to making that Santa list, right? Let them cut out some pictures of what toys or bicycles or things like that they want. And let that be a reward for your family as you do the work, create the personal growth within yourself, and start checking those things off by increasing your income every month. I hope you'll do that, because what you have here is something so special. So special. I can't wait to see what happens over the next 10 years and how many more people that we get to see and hear stories like Sarah. We didn't really get to hear from you tonight, but like Sarah and Marina and Amanda, and there's so many more of those stories just waiting to happen.
Rhonda, thank you so much for that. I was like, oh, should we just get off now? Is everybody ready to go? Who wants to be, what did you say, 58 or 59?
59.
See, I was even going to say 50. Who wants to be 59 years old and be working on their 5th million? I mean, drop a 2 in the freaking chat, Rhonda. Seriously, you are fired. I've heard your story so many times, but Rhonda, I just don't even feel like you're your age. Not only do you not look it, but I'm just like, you are just so full of energy and life. And that is just different, I think, than a lot of people that you see at your age. And that is such a compliment to you, Rhonda, like seriously. And that's probably comes from the choice of working hard and living the life that she wanted to choose, and like I said, she didn't have a story, that she felt like she was set up for success to start with. And really what's amazing about this business is none of those things matter, right? No. So we're going to do a little work. Okay. I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, I'm on fire. I could go write all my things down, but we also want to make sure when we are doing dream boards, you guys, and vision boards, that we're not just throwing random stuff on there and like hoping that it sticks or it happens or anything like that. And so this is the thing. We're going to start doing a little bit of the work now, okay? And so you guys, we talk and we get on Zooms and we get on trainings and we get on calls with people all the time to talk about the how, the actions that we should take, the consistency, and how excitement, presence, all that stuff is everything for your business, right? And how doing your core 4 or your 6 list or consistently doing host to post brings those enrollments, and that's what you get paid on, right? But the thing is, you guys, what I want to tell you is more important than all of those things is what is going to motivate you to do those things. Okay. And so that is what comes from doing your dream board, the motivation and what it means to you and what your goals mean to you. That's where motivation comes. It's not going to come from Rhonda. It's not going to come from Marina or something that we say. We can share our stories till we are blue in the face, but until it has meaning to you that creates emotion, that's what's going to make you move. Emotion makes you move. Okay. And so that's why we do these things. And so they have said so many things, you guys. First of all, drop a 1 in the chat if you've done a dream board before, and drop a 2 in the chat if you have never done one and actually put your goals before the new year on a piece of paper that you can stare at, that you can cross off, that you can add to all the things. And just know, you guys, you can add to this. I leave room on my dream board, which maybe some people don't, but I leave room on my dream board to add things. You know, and we're going to talk about specific numbers. Amanda was talking about that. She's like, you know what, if you have credit cards, list each credit card out and put a balance on it, right? What is it? Put that freaking stuff in pencil, because you're going to erase that amount. And every time, I don't care if it's $120 in sample cash, I hope it's you earning the $150 bonus because you complete your 4-1, or that you get a $350 bonus because you just help somebody else complete their 4-1. Every time that you go, what you can do is that you're going to go look at that dream board and you can be like, you know what? I would love to put the $350 to this, but I put this on my dream board and this credit card is going away, right? Or this student loan balance is going to be half of what it is. Whatever it is, because it is going to mean so much for you, okay? And here's the thing, for those of you that have never done one, this is going to be a game changer for you. I really am going to tell you that. And I'm going to be honest, I had never done anything like this before this business ever. And I don't even think I did one until I was like second year in. And it is crazy how much more likely you are to actually achieve your goals when they are written down. So crazy, you guys, that it's 42% more likely to do so if you have written them down. You guys, that is a freaking high percentage, 42%. Okay, so that's what we want to do. So we want to make sure that we get clear on what we want and what motivates you so that you can complete the tasks necessary to complete the things on your dream board. So one of my favorite quotes, you guys, ever when it comes to dream boards, and I have it every single year on the top of my dream board, but it's from Nelson Mandela, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "There's no passion to be found in playing small or in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." Okay, so few things. Why we do a dream board: it serves as a source of inspiration and motivation, right? It cultivates a positive mindset. And you guys, we know that a mindset will make or break you, right? So this is something that you can come back to when you're having a rough day to be like, no, this is why I'm doing this. Because like Marina said, like Rhonda said, like Amanda said, we have hard days in our business, but we get to choose our hard. Stopping is probably going to create a whole lot more hard situations than just having a hard day here and there, right? And so this will keep you grounded, that you can go back. And it's one of the most powerful manifestation tools that you can have, you guys. It allows you to attract your goals by law of attraction. Like, and the thing is that stuff does work, right? We put it out there. So really, when you go to do this, you are making a conscious choice to design life on your terms. Okay, instead of allowing life to happen to you or for others to create it for you, you get to literally look at this and you can be like, I have a way to create this, and I'm going to take one step at a time. Okay, so here's some tips. I'm just going to play some light music as we get going, because I want you guys to have your paper, your pencil. You can have, if you have magazines, cutting things out, whatever it is. But first things first, you want to ask yourself, what do you really want for 2022? Okay, so I want you to put literally whatever comes to your mind. This is like, we are not holding back, right? Like Rhonda said, if we want the car, or you want a purse, or you want this vacation, it doesn't matter why you want it, you guys. If you want it, I want you to write it down, because there's a reason behind it. You can go revisit that at another point, okay? So I want you guys to do that. We're gonna work on that for like the next 4 minutes. Okay, what you want. And I say this is kind of like a loaded question, and I might just kind of talk and guide you through some of these things. But I also want you to reflect on 2021, this current year, and feed off of your accomplishments that you had in 2021. Okay, and I want you to know that, you guys, accomplishments aren't just a promotion. You maybe had to work through a lot, right, internally or through your mindset, so that you could work through that now so that you can receive the gifts coming for 2022. Okay, so think of things that you can feed off of that you accomplished in 2021, and you can grow those things. Oh yeah, that's such a good idea. You can even share them in the chat, you guys. Rhonda, that's amazing. She just wrote on there that she started Host to Post in 2021 and enrolled more LCs than ever in her 10 years. Ditto. And I don't know why I put up Host to Post as long as I did, but you guys, oh my gosh, it's changed my business for me. I'm going to put some things in the chat for you guys too. And you guys, as you write things down, feel free. It's so much more fun to blow the chat up. So feel free, if you have a goal that you want to throw out there so we can all cheer you on, put it in the chat. Oh, I'll put the Mandela quote here. It's like my favorite one. Okay, you have one more minute. What you really want for 2022, okay? And even if you have to go back to it, that's okay. But I want to leave you with points so that way you truly finish your vision board, even if this is the first year that you do it. Because in 2022, I'm going to have you come on here and tell us how powerful it was for you. How did my playlist just changed from Lauren Daigle to Jonas Brothers? Not sure even how that happens. It's fine though. Here we go. See, I didn't even notice that. Okay. People are saying they didn't hit all on their 2021, but you hit 6 of them. See, and honestly, you guys, there's times in my business where I don't feel like I'm doing a good job, or I feel like I'm working so hard that maybe it's not showing in only the one spot I'm looking at. And then I go back and I revisit things like this and I'm like, Sarah, this is why you do stuff. Because just like we always tell people, you need to take a before and after. Why? Because people forget what their before truly looked like unless they got it, right? And they'll be like, this didn't work. It did work. But then when you put their pictures side by side, you're like, are you kidding? Right? So this is why it is so important. Oh my gosh, I'm loving these. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is that this is kind of part of it. So let's just skip to this next part. Categories. You heard this a lot while these ladies were sharing their stories, right? In the vision that they've been chasing and the vision that they continue to put effort into growing, okay? But here's your categories that you have. And if you even look up dream boards and you look into them and how to create them and how to create successful ones, you will see these same categories over and over. Okay, so here they are. You have family, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial. And then there's one more. And that is activities. So like places you want to go, things you want to do. And you guys, if you ever have, I don't think any of you will feel this way right now after listening to some of their stories. But the thing too is I always tell people if they have a hard time figuring out what it is that they want. Or sometimes people feel guilty, right, for wanting more because they think, if I'm wanting more, that means that I'm not grateful for what I have. First of all, that's a big old lie, right? The Lord, we can be grateful and still want more and go for more. That is exactly what we are called to do. So here's the thing, but I always tell people too, like, also, it's okay to write the things that you don't want anymore too, okay? So just all the things that you want, if there's things that you don't want anymore, it's okay to write those down, okay? And the thing with these categories, and I'll put the categories in the chat, but the thing with the categories that you are going to find that if one of the well-being of one category is off, you guys, it affects all of them. It affects all of them. So just like we talk about even in this business, like when we say you cannot only just post, right, to build your business. No, we have 6 different things that literally like feed each other, right? And so that's where these 6 categories that we said, is it 6? I keep saying that. I didn't even count. I think it's 6. But this is a thing. So that's kind of funny, you guys. That's 6 categories and we have our 6 list, right? But the thing is each one feeds into the other. So you want the best and you want the well-being to be good in every single one of those. Okay? So those are your categories: family, mental. So that can be like mindset stuff. That can be, maybe you're doing yoga, or you need to take time for yourself, or whatever it may be, to make sure that your mental health is being a priority, okay? Physical, spiritual, financial, and then your activities or things that you want to do, okay? And so here are some things that you also heard these ladies talk about, so I'm gonna kind of just move through these things. So as you visit these categories and you think of things, like financial, you guys, that could be like, how many 4-1s do you want to complete, or how many 150 bonuses do you want to earn by March, the end of March? How many 350 do you want to earn? How many of the 2,500 do you want to earn that was just announced? Like, these are things where you can get so dang specific. Like, you heard Amanda even say it too in your business. Like, I write down every single year how many personally enrolled rubies and diamonds I want to help in my business. Yeah, and on my team. Okay, so you can do different things. Now, as you leave tonight and you go and look for pictures to add, or you guys, things that you can grab off Pinterest. You're gonna laugh at me, but like, once you already are in this mindset and the things that you know are on your board, right? You may just be writing things down tonight. It's funny the stuff that comes to you though, because even today I went and like some of the stuff that came in the mail, like I had one where I ripped out the one that said save. So I'm gonna have my number of what we want to save this year. And we have multiple counts. I started with 1 count, right? I started with just amping up our savings account. I was like, how nice is it to be able to pay your bills, to do the extra things and still put that in your savings? Like, I remember being like, you know what? I have to do this first, and then maybe next month we can put it into our savings. Like, I was always having to pick and choose between my goals. What's cool is that with this business and adding it into where you are, you may not have to pick and choose. You may be able to choose multiple, right? And then, so I saw that in just like a thing. You guys, this is another one. I don't even know. I've never ordered from this thing, but they had some of the coolest things in here. Like they had celebrate. They had like different words. Office, right? So one of mine is actually setting office hours. So that's why I kept this sucker. I'm keeping this. So again, you guys, you don't even have to have magazines. Just look through your mail that's coming out. Go scour Pinterest. Things that you are like, you want to have that at the forefront of your mind. Certain words, right? So office hours is a part of mine. So you'll start finding different things on here. And I'm going to show you even things that go with my goals. Okay. So some of mine will have writing on it. Oh my God, I just made a mess. Apparently I had markers. But you're gonna see on here, you guys, like you guys, I just make this on an app, okay? I went and printed it off. I showed you guys exactly what I do with it. And I just put my family picture on there because obviously they are like my driving force behind it all, but just cool stuff. And so really, you guys, I bet you could find, even if you went and you're like, I wanna get some magazines, I wanna put some pictures in there, you could get a travel magazine, you could get a success magazine. I love our success magazines. And then what was the other one I was thinking? Oh, like a health and wellness one, right? I bet you with that, you would find the words that you want, but just cool stuff like shifting forward, grow as you go, reading list. I have what we want our team to be able to hit, right? Extreme effort, extreme results. And then I'll fill in what I'm writing down on paper with you all around it. We want to go to a trip to Hawaii. So for those of you that know me, all of our family lives away from us. So every time that we're taking a trip, like outside sports or business or whatever, it's to go see our family, right? Because we miss them dearly. But I was telling Kevin, I'm like, we need to go like somewhere just as a family to that, like a destination place that we've never been, right? And so that's been something that I'm like, that is going on my dream board. Like, I'm no longer just talking about it. Like, we are going to do that and not feel bad about doing that, right? So as you think of those things and as you find pictures and words like that, you guys, again, you don't have to go out and spend a ton of money. It doesn't need to be like beautiful. This is stuff that I've had around my house. Like those things that I showed you, that's like stuff that just came in the mail. Okay. So know that you can do that. So pictures that trigger the right emotions. Okay. Another thing, put on quotes. Find quotes that you love. Like you guys know, Nelson Mandela quote on mine every single time. I shared the one that Rhonda said. So unbelievably, like I love that one. I've never even heard her say it. But you put those in and add them in color. Like I put my quotes are automatically just, I add them in with marker, with color. And then two last things that I want to share when it comes to creating your dream board is you guys, you do involve your husband or your spouse or whoever and involve your kids if you've got them. Okay. Because I will tell you for the longest time, I remember when I first started my business, like, yes, I'm going for these goals and they were goals that meant stuff to me, right? It was like, get rid of my nursing loans. We were paying for our cash for our wedding and all these things. And I remember I was telling my husband, and sometimes you guys, you might have maybe a significant other that's like, what is she freaking doing? Like, what is she working so hard on outside of work hours, right? Because usually it means it's taking away a little bit from somewhere else. I have found that the way that they start understanding and become supportive is by asking them, like, what goals do you want? Like, what goals, while you support me, can I work towards? Because I would love to be able to help you make one of those happen, right? And I'll never forget it. I think I asked Kevin one time, instead of just having like the goals that I thought our family would, I'm like, no, I want you to add like 2 or 3 goals onto this so that yours are on there. And then we have our boys add their stuff on here. And so that way everyone's involved, because you know what? They're going to be so much more likely to cheer you on because they're going to look at their goals up right alongside yours. So one of them was like getting Kevin a new car. And he'd always have these like small little cars or whatever. And I'll never forget when we went and got that Tahoe, it's like a light bulb went off and he's like, yeah, you know what? I maybe am watching the kids during a Zoom or while she's on a call with a potential distributor, but look what she's able to do while she's doing those things. And just from a little bit of help from me, right? In whatever way, I don't even need him to cheer me on. I was like, can you just make dinner one night or do like different things so that I can go help and put in and create a life that we absolutely love, right? So that's one of the things. Make sure you involve your kids and your spouse, okay? Your word. We talk about this. Amanda was talking about this. You want a word that correlates with the things that you want. Okay. So last year, I'm just going to give you an example. Last year, and if you have your word for the year, put it in there. Put it in the chat. Give some people some things to think about. I think I have my word this year, but it's still, I'm just going to let it sit a little bit longer before I totally say that that's what it is. But last year, my word was strong or strength. I wanted strength in every aspect of my life. Physically, I wanted my mindset stronger. I wanted stronger relationships after a year of being what felt like we were so freaking isolated, right? I wanted more strength in my faith. Like the word that just everything I was writing down, all I kept seeing was strength. Like strength in all these areas is what's going to move you towards your goals. So people are putting theirs in there. Peace, yes. And I love when I get to like know the meaning behind them. My word this year I think is going to be commit, right? Because it's like, you know, the things that you have to do, it's just like committing to it and just doing it no matter what craziness and chaos is going on in life, right? It's just commit, whatever it was. So my physical goals, like I need to commit to taking 30 minutes for myself each day. Doesn't matter if it's like a workout or I'm walking around the block or whatever it is, I can take 30 minutes for myself. So you want to think of a word. And what's cool is that when you get this word, you guys, what happens is when you think of it, it almost triggers all the things that you've written down. It almost reminds you of all the goals and the things that you put and you are prioritizing for the year. It just grounds you. So some of them, they're putting theirs in there. Intention, trust, bold, simplify. Simplify was one of my words one year. Peace, somebody put that in there. Joy, purpose, abundant. I saw that one in there. Authentic, generous. Like there's so many. And again, you guys, if you're struggling with the word, start doing your goals first, and then you can even look some up on Pinterest and see which one fits you best, okay? And then you have to have small and big goals. You absolutely have to, because the thing is that we like to work for things and be rewarded. And so as you work for your large goals, you have to have those wins that are coming in between to keep you going, right? That really drive you to reach the big goals that you're like, I don't know the how of that. I can't see that right now, but what I'm doing is I'm trusting the process and I'm going for these small goals, okay? So you have to have big and small goals. I always say size matters, right? You need both of those. And then be super specific, like down to the cent, down to the minutes of what you want to do, down to the number of books that you want to read. Just get so specific, you guys. And then the one thing I want to share with you as we're doing this is that, you guys, these vision boards, and I don't know, I felt like one of you guys said this, but the vision boards, they're not magic on their own, right? They're not magic on their own. Like you can't write them down and be like, oh, that's going to happen. Here we go. But with the correct mindset and with ambition, the results can absolutely 110% be magical. Okay. And that's why we're taking tonight. That's why we're setting aside the how, the actions to do it, showing you all those things, because if you don't have this, you'll find excuses to not even do the other things, okay? I don't have one yet. Let me see. Believe. I heard that one. We actually did a Christmas party and somebody else had that one. And you guys, what was so crazy is they said words before we were opening up our mug exchange. And the mug that she got said believe on it. So she told us her word. And so this was coming, Lisa knows this, Vanessa does too, they were there. But it was so crazy. She's like, yeah, my word is believe. Like, I just need to believe in myself. And you guys, this was coming from a triple diamond. So just remember, like, we all have stuff we're going through, right? She got to triple diamond. And here she is saying, like, I need to believe in myself. Isn't that crazy? Like, there's just seasons of life that just bring different things. And so what was so cool is that she didn't know her goals, but she knew her word for the year. And she said it was believe. And then they're like, okay, open up your mug. And all of a sudden, you guys, there it was. Like, literally, her mug said believe. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So, okay. How are we feeling with this thing? Are you guys feeling good about things? Let me see. Ups and downs are going to happen. Yes, yes. I'm excited. So am I. Okay. And so last but not least, you guys, and I know we took a little longer. I was not going to cut those stories short because they were so good. And you know, when we started, I've always had a heart that loves to give. And when we were talking about certain things like that, and it's like, but at the end of the day, you have to take care of your family first, right? And so it's crazy because I think Marina's been on one. I've been on one, Rhonda as well, but mission trips have always been my thing. And I thought it would be so easy to accomplish because of the line of work I was in and through nursing. But what was funny is even in our job, when we said, like, we want to go on a mission trip and help serve other women in different countries, our hospital was like, not a chance. We cannot replace you. We don't have anybody to take your shifts. Like, it was just like not even thought about. It was just like a cold, hard no. We were like, what? Like, this is crazy. Like, we are very skilled. Like, you've taught us to be very skilled people. But because of this business, and again, I didn't know how it would happen, but because of this business and the opportunities to give, I was able to go to Honduras. And it was like seriously, I actually went back twice. And it was the best trip of all time. And like Rhonda said, I mean, it really puts things into perspective. You're like, not only can life be hard, but we do have the opportunity to change that, right? And to work through that where they just don't even have those options. So, okay, so here's the thing. What do we actually do with this dream board now? Okay, let me see. I was looking at the chat here. So here's the things that I'm going to give you. Let me see what it says. Let me see what I wrote down on here. Okay. I'm actually going to give you 4 things that I want you to do. And then I'm going to give you some homework, just like Rhonda gave you homework. Do not forget Rhonda's homework, because that was not part of mine, but that was good. Rhonda, you might need to put it in the chat again so that people have it. Okay. So here's the thing. To do these things, you want to know why you want to achieve it. We talk about our why all the time. Same thing with each of those goals. What is that going to do for you? Okay, so as you write your goals, you can just put it small, what it's going to do for you. Second, I want you to prioritize your goals. You have to win at some of these things. Okay, and even if you start with the small wins, what is that going to do? It's going to not only grow your belief and trust in this business and in this opportunity, but it is also going to show you that you actually can do these things. It's going to build your confidence. And we all need that, right? That's why we don't come flying in here thinking we're going to make $10,000 a month. No, we're like, oh, I mean, my goal was like, hey, if I can make $500 extra a month by my year in, I am killing it. Like, I was like, that's fabulous, right? But I had to start small, because if somebody would have said, hey, you can start this and make $10,000 a month, I'd be like, okay, that's like, you want to talk about a scam. That's probably what I would have thought this was, right? But when you're like, hey, Sarah, you can make an extra $50 or $100 or what you would make picking up an extra shift. Yeah, now you've got my attention. So just remember, just because the size of the goal doesn't necessarily determine the power behind it or the importance of it, okay? So don't be shy about putting small goals on there. So 1, why you should achieve it and what it's going to do for you. 2, prioritize them. Prioritize them in how you want to achieve them, okay? And then I want you to get specific, you guys. Like, how can you truly reach these goals? Which calls do you think, when you look at your schedule, which calls can you make for the week, right? You can look and you can think to yourself, even get specific. Like for myself, I'm like, how many reels could I try to do each week, right? And I even have a goal still to this day. I want to share this business in some way, somehow, every single day. So sometimes that may be hopping on a personal call. Sometimes it may be personally messaging people and I'm doing the behind the scenes thing. Sometimes it's in a story, right? Sometimes it's sharing somebody else's story. Sometimes it's in a post. Sometimes it's in a reel. Like, we have so many options, but I want you to get super specific, and I want you to see if you can share this opportunity every single day in some way. And it's going to look different every day. And the cool thing about it is that then it doesn't become boring or monotonous for you either. You're excited, right, to be able to share what this does. So calls that you can make. Think if you have work hours, could you get up 30 minutes earlier, right, than what you're doing, so that you could send out some post-to-post messages? Could you stay up 20 minutes later? Like, you guys, those things are what changes people's businesses. Those are the things that bring in 4 figures a month for people. It's not 4 hours of work that's quiet behind a closed door and all organized. That's not what this looks like, right? And then also, I want you to focus on, when you're looking at this, what has held, there's 2 parts to this. What is holding you back? So I want you to put your limiting belief, but then I want you to put your rebuttal right next to it, okay? So you can be like, you know what, I'm busy. Maybe you know that that's something, like, you tell yourself all the time that I'm so busy. You guys, there's just being truthful. Like, there's times where I'm like, gosh, I'm so tired. I'm like, am I tired, or am I just uninspired at what's on my to-do list? Like, am I just like putting this off? You know what I'm saying? But I want you to know, we all have limiting beliefs, but our rebuttal is what is so important. So I want you to know and self-reflect on what you think is holding you back, but I want you to also put your rebuttal in there, because that's what's going to help you focus and work through those things, because we're not going to let those things hold us back 2 years in a row. Okay. And then last things, guys, this is it. Here's your homework. Okay. When you get this done, you can either take a picture of yours, and you could put it as like the picture on your screen on your phone, so that you do have it every single day. You'll be amazed. You want to put your vision board somewhere where you are going to see it a lot, okay? But I like to just mimic this. I get this all written out. The whole process within itself, you guys, you are going to be motivated. You're going to feel inspired, right? Because you took the time to actually do these things. But I love having it and recreating it and putting it on my phone. I want you to do 10 I am statements. They can be short. And these can be things that you're going to wake up and instead of opening up Instagram or your messenger or anything else, you are going to take 20 seconds to read your 10 I am statements. And that's how you're going to start your day, is speaking life into yourself. Okay? Because you deserve that. And then I'm just going to leave you with this. And this is another really good quote that I happened to come across. And it's very, very important, okay? And we talk about this too, that you can have all the knowledge in the world, but it's not powerful until we apply it, right? So this one says, the vision must be followed by the venture. It is not enough to stare up the steps. We must step up the stairs. So super, super cool. And that one's by Vance Havner. So let me see, you guys, does anybody have any questions? Glad we were able to do this tonight, you guys. And you're going to have some work that you're going to work on outside of this, but more so than anything, I just wanted you to have direction and how you can create a tool that honestly can change your business and your mindset for an entire year. Because we've learned how much this stuff has helped us, and that's why we take the time to do that. And like Amanda said, not January 1st. Let's not wait, right? We know December 29th that we already got massive announcements today, which was so crazy. I told Rhonda, I go, I didn't even know that we were having all these like announcements, but we had already planned this. And I'm like, how cool that they already gave us the tools to start even working on these things, right? And then they're going to be even adding more, but we wanted to get this all done. And so you have this in ready to go, right? Come after the holidays, go spend time. You know what? You're going to be reminded through the holidays and when you're around people, when you're taking the time to do the extra special things, why these things are so important to you. You're not going to talk yourself out of them, and you shouldn't, right? That's settling. We're not here to settle. We didn't start a side business and a side hustle to settle. We did it so we can add those things out without any guilt, any stress of whatever it may cost for ourselves or our families. And then come on the 29th, we're going to be able to even hear more announcements that are coming. So thank you so much for hanging out tonight. You guys, I will get the recording up so that way others can do it too if they didn't get to hop on tonight.